Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Boys Don't Cry once again. Right now I am going home from where? Well, right now I'm supposed to be at work, but I decided to take a Umer Khan day, a me day. Yes, taking care of myself day. I had some travel planned, but that did not materialize. So I decided, you know what? What the hell? Just take an Umer day. And just went for some workout, early morning workout after I dropped my kids to school. And yeah, not that I haven't been going to work out. It's just that I haven't been as regular as I want to be. So it was important that I took this day, and I want to talk about this more. And for that, I'm going to wait till I get back to what I'm still going to refer to as my studio. So rest of today's episode of Boys Don't Cry, me time from the studios.
So, welcome back to the studios. Welcome back to Boys Don't Cry, podcast where we dismantle the myths, break the silence, and make space for brothers, men, boys to heal, feel, and be real. Today's episode is a very special one, something we rarely give ourselves the permission to do, which is pause. We're talking about my time. As you just saw, as I started the episode, that today I'm celebrating Umer Khan Day. Why in the world would I need to celebrate Umer Khan Day? Me time. It's not a luxury. It is a lifeline. We need to treat it as a lifeline because the truth is your job, any work you do, they will replace you. They will replace us in a heartbeat. What will not replace us, what will won't be able to, or what won't be able to replace us is our body, our soul, our consciousness. So what do we do about that? So let's unpack by stepping back from the grind and by seeing how doing so is not a sign of weakness, rather wisdom. And why choosing yourself isn't quite quitting, but it is a mechanism for survival. What I do want to share is how I came about the idea of Umer Khan Day or inspiration. And I'm just going to share a brief video, brief clip, maybe a few second clip, which hopefully will set the tone for what I am talking about. What you see on the screen is a view from my workstation at work. And as you can all see, it is an ambulance. So this is something I saw maybe about 3, 4 weeks ago, and it has happened about 3 or 4 times where I have seen ambulance come to our workplace and take a few times it was the same individual. They took that person away on a stretcher in the ambulance from work, and off they went. So the inspiration from that instance, which I was witness to as I was looking down the street from my work. Hence the importance of me time. And in context of really men's me time. So just to set the tone, we're not machines. And in reference to men especially, we're not machines, even though we are made to believe, everyone makes everyone believe that yes, men are machines. Men are rocks. Men are Alcatraz. Men are T-800. Yes, but at the end of the day, we're human beings. Okay, so the society's treatment and the society's judgment and the society's perception of a man happens to be, without generalizing, happens to be that of a productivity machine. So a gentleman's going to go to work. He's going to do this white collar, blue collar, regardless of what vocation that person has. They're going to go to work. They're going to get through whatever is thrown their way. They're going to come home. They're still going to take care of things. They're still going to contribute in different capacities. And then they are going to not go about sharing feelings or whining or venting or expressing what they're really thinking. So let's just focus on the productivity side. So the emphasis right from childhood. You're the strong one. You're the rock of the family. You've got to take the family forward. You've got to take care of your sisters. You've got to take care of your family. And even this is not just Muslim or subcontinental families or men. I've even seen this in African Americans. I've seen this Caucasians. I've seen this Hispanics. It is just the way it has been over the course of decades that I have experienced that you're the man of the house. You're going to have to take care of these things. You're going to have to take out the trash. You're going to have to get the car fixed. You're going to have to go mow the lawn. You're going to have to take care of the flower bed. Plumbing is wrong, so you're going to have to go figure it out. Find a way to do it. So, a productivity machine. So much emphasis is laid upon that, which is not wrong. It should be, as it should be on other things. And then in return for that productivity machine, you get compensation. You are compensated for that productivity. So the equation really is in terms of productivity versus revenue, the return on that productivity. So that is a big perception. That is a big symptom that we see around us in context of how men are perceived, how men are seen by not just their family members, by not just the society, the different circles that they hang out in. It could be a professional circle, it could be a personal circle, it could be a friend's circle. So that is a strong perception that we need to start talking about, and we need to start finding different dimensions, part of that perception, which is the productivity machine. And we were having a conversation a few nights ago on this also, that yes, the value of a man is measured in terms of the dollar amount or the rupee amount or the bread amount that is brought home, and over the course of years, to what extent that increases. That is also another aspect of this productivity machine perception that we have, which needs to be looked into or looked at from different lenses, from an emotional lens, from a psychological lens, from a spiritual lens, from a physical lens, because all these things, when start falling apart, they start causing issues on the physical side of things. It may start with emotional side, it may go through psychological, it may impact your spiritual, but at the very end, it's going to impact the physical side of things. So taking me time does not mean I'm being lazy. It does not mean I am procrastinating. It does not mean I don't want to do things. It simply means that's it. Today, I am going to take the day off. Work is 8 hours of my life every day. I'm going to put that on the side. I'm going to put everything else on the side. I'm going to take some time off and I'm going to treat myself. That could be going for a workout. That could be going getting a haircut. That could be just going shaving against normal routine, or just maybe going to get some window shopping done. Maybe you go to Best Buy. Maybe you go to some electronic space and just look at stuff. Or maybe you just watch some sports. If you're into grilling, maybe do some grilling. For who? Just yourself. It is a mechanism of putting everything on pause, but myself. That could be at the same place, that could be at the same in the same city, that could be going away for a day, for a weekend, 5 days. It is not being lazy and not doing anything. It is putting everything on pause, putting everything on back burner, because the world's not going to break down, sky's not going to fall. If I'm going to take one day off, everything will keep going on. And I'm going to talk about this from an employment perspective also. We need to normalize this as a resilience mechanism, not as a laziness attribute. Taking a day off. Man, I wasn't feeling well, so I just took a day off. Absolutely fantastic. You took a day off. What did you do? Nothing. Great. One of my favorite things to do. Nothing. Sometimes you just want to take a cup of coffee, cup of chai, sit down, and just do nothing. The absolute best feeling in life. Sometimes. When you just want to stand there or stand outside. One of the nothing things I love doing is waking up in the morning, getting freshened up, and just going outside for 5 minutes and just standing there. Sun just came out and birds are still chirping. There's a gentle breeze outside, and you just stand there. Just listen to those sounds, chirps of birds, the wind flowing, maybe some sirens, some buses in the background, some construction machinery going off. So just do that. Nothing. You just stand there, admiring everything around you. So we need to really normalize this concept of sometimes doing nothing. For who? For myself. Hence, Umer Day. Now, let's talk about a very important dimension. Talking about work. As much as I love doing what I do at work, I love myself more. I understand, and I understood this about many moons ago, about good 10, 12 years ago, that if something were to happen, my employer, no matter how nice my company is, my employer will replace me in a heartbeat if something were to happen. Okay, I am an employee number 00127855. That is who I am. I am a resource number. Even though I hate that term, I have mentioned this so many times on different calls at workplace that can we not reference people as refer to different people as resources, even though, yes, we are a resource, but have some courtesy. Call your people team members. Okay, at least be polite, be courteous. Extend the courtesy of calling people teammates. So if you die tomorrow, if I just drop dead tomorrow, what's going to happen? If at all they find out in time. I'll tell you something here. About 8 months ago, we were on a call on Thursday, and one of the team members, one of the teams I was working with, one of the team members didn't see an out of office for that gentleman on the calendar. So I inquired, hey, where's so and so? Well, he's taking the day off. All right, hopefully everything's good. Friday, same thing. Didn't hear anything. Okay, maybe he's still out today. Maybe he told someone. Yes, ended up telling someone. Tuesday, asked the same question again. Hey, where's so and so? We haven't heard from him. Does anyone know what's happened? And then one of my colleagues on the call, she said, oh, so and so passed away on Friday. Just like that. The gentleman had passed away on Friday, but there was no communication till Tuesday that gentleman had passed away, even though we found out later that there had been communication of his passing away with senior management. And then Tuesday to Friday, there was already a person assigned to the team. Oh, so and so is going to replace so and so. Now, this is another very sickening sentence. So and so will replace so and so. Johnny's going to replace David. Now, we're talking about an individual who passed away. So you can't really say, you shouldn't really be saying, oh, Johnny's going to replace David, because David was an individual. David had certain skill set. David had a personality. David had a family. David had different attributes. So Johnny cannot replace David. What Johnny can do is Johnny can step into the role that David was performing from a competencies perspective. But Johnny sure as hell cannot replace David. because David has his own space. He had his own jokes. He had his own personality. He had his own way of getting through to people. Johnny's a brand new person. He's going to be joining the team. And now that's going to be a completely different dynamic. So when we say, oh, Johnny's going to replace David, what we're also saying is, boom, everyone's replaceable, which is a fact of life. Yes, I make no mistake about the fact that everyone at a job is replaceable. Everyone's dispensable. So coming back to Umer Khan Day, me time. If your employer will not waste time replacing you, then your priority, our priority should be putting ourselves up at the top so that when you die, when your employer replaces you before your obituary is read, you don't end up wasting years of your life putting work ahead of everything else, even your all physical, emotional, mental, spiritual health. Very important. Employee number 00127558. Let them reference people like that, but we need to make sure that I'm taking care of Americana. That is why I took the day off. I had some travel planned, did not materialize. So I was like, you know what? Let's work Thursday, Friday. But Monday, it is American Day. That's what I'm going to do. Here I am. We need to normalize this. If I can take care of myself, only then I'll be able to take care of everyone else. The healing, the understanding, the recognition of symptoms, the acknowledgement of symptoms, and then working your way through those symptoms to get to a point where you're like, you know what? I think I need to do something about it. And that will only happen when we are off that hamster wheel where we're just running and running and running and running. Hence, me time. So important. We need to prioritize wellness over hustle, work hustle, business hustle for the sake of not just our survival, but our growth also. So now, coming from work, let's talk about the impact of this chronic burnout. Over the course of years, I've known people who have accumulated 200, 300 hours of vacation time, but they rarely take that time off. Well, I don't really go anywhere. Even when I'm working, I don't really need to take time off because I can just close my laptop and I'll be good to go. So that vacation time is just sitting there getting wasted. Now, disconnected completely versus just sitting there, closing your laptop and taking 5, 10 minutes off while you're still thinking about work, two different things, completely different things altogether. So over the course of time, when you are not taking this me time, starts resulting in stress. That stress keeps building up. And over the course of time, chronic stress leads to anxiety. It will. Okay, how do I do this? How do I get out of this situation? And then finally, when you're reaching that breaking point, now you're up against a certain deadline that now you emotionally feel that, okay, this is not the right time for me to take break from work because now what is everyone going to think? Oh, we have a production release coming up, or we have a certain milestone coming up, we have a very important quarterly meeting coming up. What is everyone going to think if I'm going to take time off right now? That anxiety, add that to the stress that has been accumulating over the course of the year or years because you haven't taken time off. And all these things that you've been battling, not just on your personal front, professional front, but also in your personal life, all that is coming together. And it is forming an iceberg under the water. And when that tipping point hits, there's going to go our Titanic. And then when this emotional, mental, spiritual anxiety, stress manifests, in physical symptoms, that is when shit hits the fan. I recently heard somewhere when you don't have health problems, you have no problems. But when you have health problems, you only have one problem. So when all this anxiety, all this stress manifests in physical symptoms, then that is when the real shit hits the fan. And that is when most people realize that I should have taken care of myself. I should have prioritized my health over everything else. I should have taken a sporting weekend off. I should have hung out with my friends. I should have gone for a drive. I should have gone to watch this movie. But now it's too late. Now, another thing, an example, taking a break. It's not quitting. And how it's not quitting. If you've worked in software delivery, whenever there is a production release, and I'll give a few examples of this. Whenever there is a production release, they want to make some updates to the software version. They take the application offline for, let's say, 8-hour window. Send out a notice to all the users that, okay, so-and-so application is going to be offline for next 8 hours because there's a production release happening, because you want the application to take a break. You don't want users to have an adverse experience. So you take the application offline, you make the updates, you make the patches, and then you deploy code, and then you bring the application online again. So you're taking a break. You are resetting the system with new updates, new patches, any bugs. Another example, when we, after 5,000 miles, it's time for the vehicles to be serviced. Let's say I own a fleet. It's time for one of my vehicles to be serviced. In order for me to get that service done, I'm going to have to take that vehicle off-road. I'm going to have to decommission that vehicle for maybe 48 hours. So now when I decommission that vehicle, take it offline for 48 hours, we're not going to be driving that vehicle. We're not going to be using that vehicle. That vehicle is going to go a rigorous diagnostic check. That vehicle is going to go through all the servicing, all the inspection requirements, oil change, filter change, um, tire rotation, air, everything, you name it. For 48 hours, that vehicle is not going to be on the road. We are recalibrating the entire system of that vehicle, any software patches for the vehicles now that we have these days. So we are recalibrating everything. So just like that, humans need recalibrating. And just like an application, a software, just like a vehicle, human beings are also made up of two parts. Take it or leave it. Hardware, software. Hardware is this, that. That's our hardware. Our software is our soul. That's our software. That's the emotions, the cognition. Okay, that's our software. And there's this gentleman, probably off topic, but I'm going to try to find the reel, especially for my Muslim friends and Muslim brothers and sisters. The soul, the software, what is the soul? And he referenced a verse in the Quran. I need to find that. Software, the soul is the order of Allah. It was such beautifully explained. So coming back to our topic right now is we are taking this entire system offline for 24 hours or 8 working hours or 24 hours, and we are recalibrating the hardware and we are reconfiguring the software so that when we put this machine back in production, you've got the necessary patches done, you've got the necessary updates done, you've got the any issues, any bugs fixed, hopefully. I mean, long term, short term, whatever the case be. And now this machine is back in production. Hence, taking a break is not quitting. It is recalibrating, resetting to get back in life with the same zeal, same zest, same purpose, same excitement to move forward, to improve, to achieve our goals, to envision new things, to think of new places I'm going to go to. What am I going to learn? So important to take that break. Get yourself out of that picture so that we can recalibrate ourselves and then come back even stronger. There are different ways. I mean, I enjoy me time. Could be my favorite cup of coffee, favorite cup of chai, listening to maybe some music, maybe just watching some random walking videos people post online. It could be standing outside, as I've mentioned before. Could be just grabbing my GoPro and just walking around making videos. Or maybe just looking at some raw footage that I have gathered and just looking through that to see how I can put that footage together and create something even more amazing, more beautiful. Sum of all parts ends up being more beautiful than the parts themselves. So different ways you can do that. You can maybe go catch a movie. Maybe you can just go to that favorite place where you've been wanting to document something. Or maybe go to a park, take a hike. So many different ways that we can do that. So now the very important thing that we want to start thinking is we need to, on a very personal scale, we need to start challenging this narrative that self-care is being soft or being feminine or being weak. We absolutely need to do that in our personal lives, in our professional lives, anywhere we go. That perception needs to change. Yes, be a man. Man up. Get up. You get knocked down, get up, walk it off. But that does not mean that I cannot take a break when I think that, okay, my body and my soul is sending out signals to me that, okay, Umair, take a break, exit the situation. We need to change that perception. We need to change that narrative. It is very important for our long-term health, mental, physical, emotional, psychological, cognitive, very important. Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, all these things, cognitive functions, deterioration of those cognitive functions results in all these issues over the course of time because we are so busy, we don't get enough sleep, we don't get enough proper diet. We are just continuously part of that rat race because we want to impress people, because we want to take care of our families, because we want to take care of our spouses, because we want to take care of so many things, or maybe I just want to maintain a certain status in the society, or maybe I seek validation from people outside, or maybe I seek validation from people around me in my immediate circle, which if that happens to be the case, well, then you're cooked. If your immediate circle and the five closest people, you need validation from those five people because they're the kind of people who thrive on that, then you're cooked already. Then you need to change those five people. So we need to change that narrative. And this is the hard part. How do I know when to stop, when to pause, when to take a break? How do I know? Now, I hope most of you can relate to this. Our bodies start sending us signals, soft signals. It's like that boy in the ocean in the midst of a storm where you see that light blinking. But before that light starts blinking, the buoy is just moving around, floating around in the water, and it is matching the intensity of the water movements. And then as the weather gets worse, its movements start becoming more drastic. So you've got to start listening to the signs of your body, not the Shakira signs, but actual signs of your body. Okay, what your brain is telling you, because brain's gonna give out signals based on the signals that your body, different body parts, are sending to your brain. So if you feel something's out of sync, if you think something's out of sync, if you feel something's out of sync on a physical level or on a mental level, it's time to take a break. Now, also, so many times it will happen that the signals that our body starts sending out are very mild. And then over the course of time, as situation worsens, as situation gets aggravated, the symptoms start getting worse and severe. So the longer you ignore those symptoms, chances are you're going to end up in a bigger hole in context of any physical ailment, in context of any mental situation, mental block. So we really, really need to start paying attention to what our body and what our mind is telling us. What our software, what our hardware, what are they telling us? And that is where lies the real strength. And when we realize that, okay, I need to take a break, then you put the hammer down. You need to act. All right, I need to take a mental health day. I need to take a break. Well, if you happen to be in a job where you don't have that luxury, well, you need to come up with something. You need to talk to something. Either talk to a professional, either talk to a friend, either talk to someone who's going to let you vent without judgment. You absolutely need to. Simon Sinek, love that guy. He, one mention of, call a friend, ask them, do you have 8 minutes? And if they watch that Simon Sinek video, they will know what that means. Do you have 8 minutes? I need 8 minutes. Talk to someone. If you cannot take time off, if you cannot get yourself out of that equation, then really, really, really very important to talk to someone. If you are not the kind of person who is self-motivated, who can continue coming back at the world despite of whatever the world is throwing at you. Very, very important. This is what will draw the line between how far you're going to go in life, not in terms of success, but in terms of being able to take care of yourself and then being able to take care of people and be successful. This one action or inaction will define your longevity with and around people you love. Knowing when to stop, realizing when to stop, when to take a break, when to pause, and then acting upon it. So many times we realize, oh, yeah, I think I need to take a break. I know, man, I've been trying to take a break for so many months now, but the work is just so piled up that I just cannot afford to take a break. Well, that is where we're wrong. When we start thinking, my work cannot afford a day's miss, imagine if something happens, if you drop today with a mild heart attack, will the work stop? No, the work's not going to stop. They're going to find someone. Will the operations of life stop? No, they will not. We will find ways of going through things. So when it's time, when you identify I need to take a break, find a way to take a break. If you cannot find a way to take a break, talk to someone who is good at that. And whatever they tell you, as a third person or as an outsider or a friend or a very objective black and white factual person, whatever they tell you, act on that. Because chances are, if you're going to ask someone who's actually done this, they are going to tell you exactly how they did it and how easy it is to get things done. This is another thing, maybe one for the reels. So many times in life, when we come up with situations and we try to do things or maybe try to change some things, we are told, well, it's not that simple. It is that simple when you end up doing it. So whenever someone tells you it is not that simple, try to find a way of doing it and then saying it back to them. See how simple it was. Granted, in so many parts of our daily lives, things are going to be messier than what I present here. But you have to start somewhere. So realizing, understanding that I need to take a break and then acting upon it. Very, very important. And you can consider this your call to action today. For how long has your body, has your mind been giving you signals? For how long have you been ignoring those signals? And what are you going to do about it today? So, in the end, the onus is upon us to listen to ourselves, listen to the signals we're getting, act on those signals, try to talk to someone, try to get with someone who's actually done these things, and then understand where our place is in the entire big picture puzzle and how our significance in this massive universe impacts the universe that we have created within our families, within our friend circle, within our circle of work friends, how our existence impacts that small, tiny universe. We need to be very mindful about that. So if this episode hit home, take a moment, not just to reflect, but to act. Block time this week for yourself, block time next week for yourself, next month for yourself, sooner, better sooner than later. No guilt, no apologies, no I'm sorry to do this to you. Just you, yourself, and your existence. Get a friend along, get your spouse along, get your kids along, someone. Or if you like solitude, you thrive in solitude, do that. And if you know a brother who is burning out but does not want to say anything, can't say anything, remains silent, please share this with them so that we can keep moving forward together. Let's normalize rest, not just hard work and resilience and rat race. This is Umar Khan with Boys Don't Cry. Please do comment, like, subscribe. If you liked anything about today's episode or the previous episodes that I've done, do not hesitate to reach out to me with your feedback. And since I just spoke about silence and brothers burning in silence, one of the next episodes I'm going to be doing is why men choose to remain silent. The silent men. So, till next time, take very good care of yourselves. This is Umar Khan signing off from Boys Don't Cry.